So I will be presenting a session about what we think is essential for a CPQ. I think Frederick all convinced you why CPQ is important. So you're all making the business case now. And I'm just going to show you what we think is important when you're selecting a CPQ. And it's all about what we think is self-service, that you can manage your CPQ yourself with your partner, or the UX UI, how that influences a CPQ. And lastly, it's of course integration, which is one of our specialties as well. So first of all, for integrations, what we believe is that a CPQ should really be highly flexible. So this means that when you buy a CPQ solution, you should be able to plug it in everywhere today, but also in the future. And when you start with a CPQ, a lot of people think about their existing landscape and how it should fit in. But sometimes you can think that it should be usable without plugging it in. Just use it standalone and start from there. So start small, but think big and grow it over time. But of course, a lot of our customers and also a lot of manufacturers have already existing systems. And what we typically see is that a CPQ goes hand in hand with the CRM, because salespeople, and they have to make a lot of quotes, it's hard, and the CRM is just not flexible enough to do that. So you plug the CPQ in your CRM, but then somebody says, hey, and today we have an e-commerce, we want a web shop, but our customers on the web shop, it's not enough. Yeah, they have to scroll through all of those products, and they just want to select a few things, and everybody knows t-shirt sizes, but if you have like 10 drop-downs with t-shirt sizes, it gets a bit rough. So you need to plug in your CPQ in your web shop. So that's another case of how the CPQ can leverage everything. But then, if everything's configured, it needs to go into production, so your CPQ needs to be linked to your ERP. And those are just a few of the examples. Maybe somebody else knows other examples in the room, that you have other systems where you think, I want to plug it in. It's really interesting, maybe.
Lead configurator.
Lead configurator, yeah. Yeah. So you just have a configurator on the website to generate leads, and then those leads go into the CRM and they are processed. So that's a lead configurator. That's also a typical example. So when you choose a CPQ, think about the flexibility you will get. It's not just about today, but also about tomorrow. How flexible will you be able to plug it in? Now, a lot of companies have already plenty of data. If you have a web shop, you need to get all your data on the web shop. So a CPQ should be able to leverage the existing data you already have. And what we see is that if you have pictures and images and it's already in a PIM or a product information management, just give it to the CPQ. That's all it really should do. It just visualize what's already there. If you have product rules in a PLM or another system, just give it to the CPQ so it can visualize it. It can already use what you have. And we also see a lot of price agreements in the ERP. All of those elements are already available within your organization. So why should you reinvent the wheel by implementing a CPQ and doing everything again? No, just feed the data into the CPQ and let the CPQ manage it and visualize it and use it. Okay? And last, is something very easy, but you don't want your users, especially your dealers, they want to reuse your existing logins. You don't want them to create a new user account, just reuse what you have. Okay? So the way we see it at Hive is we solve this with what I call the kind of the layered architecture. And at the bottom layer we have the platform, and the platform itself, it has everything you need, or everything a CPQ needs. It's like entities, it knows quotes, it knows configurations, it knows how to use and visualize images, and we use a little trick for that. We call it the component, or I call it the Lego factory. So essentially, you can attach everything into the master data, into the component, whether it's a price, an image, descriptions, and it will just use it on the fly. Whenever we can use show a description, it will show it whether it's there or not. And then everything like units, prices, it's all there, but it's accessible and can be used via an API. So at the center, or the second layer of our architecture is a flexible API that everything you see in Hive really can be done or accessed through an API. So all your data that you have, you can just push it in Hive through an API. So one of the things that's really interesting is, imagine you start to build a configuration using an API, and then you launch that configuration on a web shop, and you take that configuration, you launch it in the B2B portal, you let your sales configure it, you send it out, so you can do a lot of things when you're able to create configurations through an API. And when people notice that or realize that, it's a whole new world that opens up. So you can plug it in everywhere, and you can just let Hive do its thing. You can even use it as a calculation engine. So if we have all of these things and we know that it's a lot of work to do an integration, we also have pre-built packages, and those are called the adaptable connectors, which is you have a package, let's say a CRM, we provide you with a connector, but imagine that connector, it does a lot of things. It creates quote in the CRM, it syncs configurations, but sometimes you already have a CRM and it's already adapted. You have an IT partner that has changed it, but we allow that IT partner to also change our connector, to extend it so it's more flexible. A typical example is finance and operations. There are 40 ways or 50 ways to create a product. It's insane. So we allow the IT partner to create a product that matches your environment. But everything else is handled by the connector. Okay, so any questions about this? Does it make sense? Yes? See some people nodding, so. And of course, you can build integrations, but you need the knowledge, you need a team, and I will be very quick about this, but we have an in-house integration team that know how to sync integrations. We have, from the start, experience on how to use integrations. All right, some examples. We have Royal de Boer. They do barn equipment. They have an SAP. They want to do orders, quotes, products, configurations, complaints, all within their ERP. They use our API, and they have an SAP partner to do the integration. A year later, they say, we also want to do web shops. Okay, fine. We want to have shipping calculations, so we have a shipping calculator there. Also want to have some configurations in there. And again, we use the API, and they have another partner. So it's also perfectly possible to have multiple partners. And then we have Skylux. They produce lots of products to get more daylight. And they have AX for a long time now. They do quotes and orders through an API. And there it's a co-creation with Hive and the partner. So that's what they did. And they are also thinking about using dynamic CE to sync quotes and maybe orders. And they are evaluating our connector. And again, it will be Hive with the partner. And so it's just the partner or Hive with the partner. Okay, is that clear for everyone? Yes. Then the next topic is self-service, what we believe is the future. As you can see, now it's getting more visual, so it's very nice. I really like that you can build visual configuration. You have a visual builder inside Hive, so you can do your configurations. You know what you're gonna get. It's not some Excel file that's behind the scenes. It's just a visual setup. You know what you're gonna get. And this allows you to let non-IT people do your configurations. We also support a low-code engine for rules, because we really want that we can reduce the programming that's required. We can shift from IT to research and development product managers. And we also want to allow your IT partner to help you with it. It's not that you have to do everything. And on top of that, we have a lot of internal configurator specialists that can help you when you want help. So typically we can set up a configuration for you, the blueprint, because it's new, you have to learn everything, and then you can do the rest. And that's a bit of an approach that really works fast. What we've seen is that it can highly reduce the time it takes to implement the CPQ. If I ask anybody inside this room to create a complex configurator of, let's say, a canopy or a door, it will take you a year. Even if you know the product, might be 6 to 9 months. If you let Hive join, it will go a lot faster, because we know how to build it and we already know the platform. Okay, so it's self-service, but with a push from us. Right? And in my experience, any package, any CPQ, it's about 90-95% a match, and then you've got the last 5%. I've got this calculation somewhere, or a custom shipping calculator, and you're forced to integrate. And integration is hard. You might need an IT specialist. So even here, we're looking at low-code integrations using Power Automate. Power Automate is a standard from Microsoft to do integrations, but we're also compatible with others, and you can just visually integrate. We have lots of options there, but know that you are not always forced to have an IT solution. You can also have a low-code solution. Now, hopefully the most interesting part, it's importance of UX, UI. And the first thing is that a CPQ should be very flexible where you use it. And taking that into account, it's also going to be used by a lot of different people. You have your R&D, your sales, your dealers, and your end customers, all using the same solution. So the UI should be extremely flexible. So, and we can say, okay, it works on smartphone, but that's like 10 years ago. Everybody has that now. And what we do is we really think about that. Okay, so I'm going to show you a small video where we start with something that's on the website. Okay, so you're just having your 3D model at the center. You can configure your door on the right. It looks nice, and you have all of these settings that appear, and the customer has just this list to go through. It's even complex configuration, but that's basically it. It's this. You put this on the website. The dealer can use it. A salesperson can use it. It's not that hard. Once you know a bit the product and you get a nice summary, and that's really it. Okay, but imagine you have this inside the B2B, where really power users are going to use it. It's the same product, but with a lot more visual styles and a lot more options. So you can see it's all open. You can see your entire configuration. You can customize the screen, so it just adapts. You can focus on the 3D, you can focus on the bill of material, and you can turn it off and on. So if you want just the 3D, or if you want everything. Some people just want the configuration, right? And the UI just adapts to what you need. Some people want the configuration and the bill of material. Because let's be honest, if you've seen a door once, you've seen them all. But yeah, anyway, you can just focus on the non-3D, and we can make sure that the 3D will come afterwards on the quote. And that's also something that we do. So this is how we are flexibly working with the UI, and it's really very highly adaptable for all use cases. But it's the same engine, okay? Very important. Then we want to introduce some efficiency. Another small video. It's something new, what we call the wizard, and the wizard will allow non-power users to see what's going on inside the engine. Okay, so here I'm configuring a cylinder. I select the amount of cylinders that I want. And so here it will say, okay, by selecting one cylinder, the engine pre-selected some values for you, and it's going to show you for interior and exterior some new values were chosen. We're still working on this. It's actually a sneak peek, but you're going to see a lot of insights of what's going on in your configuration. And it's really going to improve your efficiency when you're working with the configurator. Okay, so that's number 2. And number 3, it's the best for last, what I call visual cues. And visual cues, again, a movie. So we have the canopy, and of course when you change something you see it on the 3D model, right? So highly interactive, but it also knows where you are. So now I'm going to change the dimensions, and it's just going to show me the dimensions. So if I change the dimension to 5,000, it's just going to pop it up at 5,000, and I can quickly see, okay, it also scaled everything, and I can see all the dimensions. But of course, such a canopy, it's very windy outside. I want to have the left, the top, and the right. I want to close, so I just go to the left, and it changes the model, so it knows where I'm at. I do it the same for the top, and I'm going to do the same for the right. So here I'm just going to say the middle, the right is just going to close it, so it's very easy. This is something an end user could do, a real customer could do. I'm just going to go for the sliding doors. But now I want to see it in big. I'm going to but then let's imagine how does it open. I can play a little animation that's specifically for this model. So you see it opens like this. So you can have an idea on how it's going to be used, and that's really powerful. And of course, if I want to see it in my imaginary house, I can turn on the full environment, and well, this is how it would look like. Okay. So very nice swimming pool and everything, non-configurable yet, but might be in the future. And this is what I call visual cues. So we cue things for the end user, some interaction. So it's very, very important. Okay, so this was my part. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah.